What is happening, fish shows? So it's been good 6 months since we launched the Penn Slammer 4 6,500 versus the Shimano Saragosa 10,000. At the time, Andrew and I decided to each go and upgrade our reels, nice waterproof reel for the amount of fishing we're doing. We found that the reels either that Andrew had pretty much had worn out at better days, and the reels I had were pretty much more budget-friendly reels, weren't lasting. I was only getting 6 or 9 months up to a year up my reels before they started giving me hassles because I'm very, very hard on my fishing tackle. So Andrew decided to go out, coming from a Penn Slammer 3 to upgrade to the Penn Slammer 4 in the 6,500, the size he chose. And obviously one of the key features he chose a reel. Look how beautiful this reel is, guys. Black and gold, matches with the Sierra absolutely beautifully. Comes in with a whopping 18.1 kgs of drag. It is 630 grams, making it slightly lighter than the Saragosa, and is IPX 6 rated. The Saragosa, on the other hand, IPX 8 rated, comes in at about 690 grams and has 15 kgs of drag, which I haven't had to get near to yet to stop anything this far. It's quite funny because first time I picked up the Slammer, I thought it was way heavier than the Saragosa, but weighing them up, it is actually, the Saragosa is actually a bit heavier, slightly larger reel. But when it comes to line capacity, we both fish 40 pound, we both fish the same braid. As I'll show you, even the color of the braid's the same, can you believe it? We both fish 40 pound, identical braid. And I think the Saragosa holds maybe 20 meters more than what the Slammer holds. I think the Slammer we put about 480 meters, and Saragosa got very close to 500 meters, which is more than enough. 300 meters is pretty much what you need. But we do like the extra bit of braid because we're doing surf fishing. You might do a 40 or 50 meter wade out, put in a 50 to 80 meter cast, plus your 50 meters back, and then stand 20 or 30 meters back. So you've got that 100 meters to play with for where you're standing on the surf up to June. And so you've still got 300 meters to pretty much play your fish with. Both reels have held up extremely well. They're both fished between 600 and 800 hours on them in those 6 months. Yes, that's a lot of fishing. They're both good fish, and we haven't had any mechanical failures out of any of them yet. The only thing I have picked up, both of them just need an extra little washer. As you can see, the line lay, it's become quite pronounced towards the top. Now obviously when you get a reel, the line lay is nice and beautiful 99% of the time. But as you fish that reel, the washer that is supplied in the reel either gets a bit squashed from your drag or it wears out a bit. But both reels, they do supply 2 or 3 extra washers. You can take the spool off, pop the washer on, run your braid off, run it back on again, and your line lay will be quite nice and even. Just a quick one, while you prefer the line lay to be even, you get better casting distance, and you also don't have to worry about when your reel's really full, your line over flapping the top of the reel, causing break-offs and things like that. So let's get into it, guys. The Slammer 4 6,500. I think the size chosen for Andrew, I know his Slammer 3 was a 5,500, pretty much the same size reel, just pretty much the 6,500's got a bit of a deeper, more height in the spool, so it just gives you a bit of extra line capacity. We found with the Slammer 3 5,500, when if long wades in the surf, weren't too confident about how much lines actually left, maybe only about 200 meters left. So nice size reel. I know Andrew fishes this on his 11 foot, but can be fished up to a 14 foot rod. It's probably a bit of overkill for 11 foot, but because he only fishes with 11 foot, he fishes sharks, he fishes big skates, everything with 11 foot. So a nice size reel to fish on 11 foot, maybe not ideal for throwing lures and stuff the whole day because of the weight, but his style of fishing, the perfect reel for that. This reel held up very well. I've seen this drag go at rates of knots it shouldn't go. The drag hasn't faltered. Yes, it doesn't sound as nice as the Saragosa, but it's still got a nice loud sound. You can pick it up at night if you're pegging your rod. Another thing what he did, I know he fished a week or 2 with the aluminium handle. He changed the EVA handle, and I see the EVA handle still on, so I'm assuming he prefers the EVA handle. I did fish, have a turn with it each, and I also prefer the EVA handle, just a bit more comfortable. But there is obviously place for the aluminium handle in everyone's fishing repertoire where they're fishing. And that, guys, let's just pop the cover off here quickly and see what the reel looks like underneath the sheets. I know Andrew takes really good care of his tackle. This thing gets a nice Dove shampoo every night when he gets home from his fishing outing, or every day from his fishing outing. Opposed to me, mine gets sprayed off with a hose pipe. Still nice and greased up, guys, and everything looks brand new inside there. One thing we also picked up, the Penn's got quite a few more bearings than what the Saragosa has. But I think the Saragosa has enough, because I don't know where they put an extra bearing, but I can't say which reel both these reels have performed. So as we say, bearing count is important, but also good quality bearings, which both reels have. One thing I did also like, and Andrew actually just pointed out to me the other day, with the Slammer 3, he found that the bail arm wore out quite quickly, the spring in the bail arm. So when he started casting his Slammer 3, his bail arm would flick over every now and again, and I did see him have numerous snap-offs. And one day when I used his reel, also I got quite irritated with the amount of snap-offs I was getting because the bail arm flicking over. The Slammer 4, I think is as tight as day one. The drag, just loosen up slightly. Hasn't lost any tone, still sounds nice and deep as it should be. Very American sounding. Other than that, guys, a beautiful looking reel. If you like a reel for its looks and performance, I think the Slammer 4 is an awesome reel to choose. RPX 6 rated, more than enough for what we need for our types of fishing, wading in the surf like that. Obviously the Saragosa being an 8, but the 6 hasn't let any water in. We would have known a long time ago. We would have started reel would have started seizing up. The reel still looks good as it did on its first day. Been well looked after, in immaculate condition. Line roller, still nice and rolly. I don't know what else to call it like that. Bail arm's working beautifully. The reel is nice and smooth. It has picked up a bit of what I call a slammer sound. Every slammer I've ever heard or fished with, after a couple of fishing outings, it gets a bit of a, I don't know how to say it, guys, no word for it, guys. Gets a bit of a sound like that. I don't know if it is to do with the brass gearing system. I have no clue what it is, but every slammer, I don't think I've picked up one that doesn't sound like that after a bit of fishing, but it doesn't hindrance the performance of the reel whatsoever. Okay, Slammer down, Saragosa up. My weapon of choice at the time, the Shimano Saragosa. Definitely not as pretty looking as what the Slammer is, but functionality, I chose this reel predominantly. Well, there were two factors. The RPX 8 rating I liked, because I do a lot of deep wading in the surf. I like to reach the far banks and a little bit of shark fishing on it too. So there are times I pretty much go quite deep. So I wanted something that can really be dunked in the surf and not worry about any water going in. But obviously the main factor, guys, was that sound. Sounds silly. I don't think, I've heard that ratchet go probably 100 times in this reel, 200 times in this reel, and there's not a time it goes that I don't get that same goosebump feeling on my skin. And even the guys that we're fishing with are like, they can't wait for that reel to go just for that sound, guys. I don't know if they should patent that sound or something like Harley have, but an absolutely beautiful sound, especially at high pitch. As well with the only little faults, if I really get nitpicky, the line lay has got a bit off center, but we'll fix it up quite quickly afterwards. I did find, listen guys, I'm very hard on my fishing tackle. You'll see all the nicks and scratches and things like that. I'm not one to put my rod, I'll put my rod down on the rocks. The reel will touch the rocks. I'm not too concerned about the cosmetic looks of it, as long as it's functional and working. And if something needs to be broken, I'll pretty much the first guy that'll break anything. So I'm quite impressed I haven't broken this reel yet, because I've really abused it. Let's just call it what it is. Only thing I could find, let's try to get the spool off here. It looks nice and clean in there now. The little clicker system that makes a beautiful sound. I found there was a bit of corrosion in it. My cleaning method, pretty much get home, sprayed off with a hose pipe, sprayed a bit of clean green and pine gel mixture on it, and then give it a wipe off and then sprayed off the hose pipe again. So I did find a little bit of corrosion in there. I just need to be a bit more careful in future. Maybe get that spool off and dry it up inside there. I don't think it's saltwater corrosion. I think it's just from excess water from me cleaning the reel lying there. And the only little other frustrating thing, the gap between the body and the arm. I found that my cotton gets wrapped in there quite a bit for some reason, but I am quite erratic, don't have patience. So when I'm baiting up, I've always got this 2 or 3 meters of cotton hanging everywhere. They always moan at me. I'm walking and my cotton's getting tied around them. Or I've walked 100 meters out to cast and I'm still pulling cotton off the reel from my bag to the end of the rocks. The drag system I've been really impressed with. Not going to fiddle with that now, guys. I'm going to get sidetracked. 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was fortunate enough to, a little pack of bronzies came through and hook. The first one I hooked, we had just put the new blue braid on. So I knew I had a fresh 300 meters of braid on. The first run, it pretty much cleaned me out my first 300 meters. And yeah, I was a bit weird, a bit concerned I'm losing my braid. But besides that, I noticed that the tension of that drag through that blistering 300 meter run didn't change once. So once the drag washers had got the heat into them, the drag smoothness stayed the same, which is very rare to find on reels. A lot of reels, as soon as the fish starts getting to 50, 100 meters and the drag washers heat up, the drag starts biting or getting extremely loose. I also found that the egg-shaped handle is really awesome, guys. One thing I also like, I don't know how to get this handle off. I haven't looked yet, but I got some cotton stuck around it the other day and it was quite a bit of an issue where the pen handle comes off quite nice and neatly. Other than that, guys, both beautiful bought reels. Both do their jobs really well. I think they both cast just as well. The line layer, when you're sending your sinker out, they both cast to the horizon, as we should say. Besides that, guys, I think both good reels. So if you're looking for a reel that's really solid, the gearing system on the Penn is in a class of its own. Can't lie about that. I think they've pretty much got the strongest gear system there is around it, or that I've fished with. I'll compare it to other brands I haven't fished with. So the way, like Andrew, I call him the fish bully, he likes to bully fish. And because of the species he's targeting most of the time, he loves his black stem rust fishing. So it's pretty much fish that have to be bullied. So like this would be an ideal reel for him, where you're putting a lot of pressure through the gears of the fish. You really got to get that fish out the bricks when you can. Also a nice choice, I think, for the ski boat guys out at sea or the guys in their kayaks, targeting yellowtail or other big reef species where you really need to put a lot of pressure on the fish quickly, where you can't just nitpick and ease the fish around and use the rod to do the work. I think the Slammer would be a better choice of the two for that reason, because I think these things are bulletproof. The way I've seen Andrew pull fish in these gears haven't stripped. You're not going to strip these gears on this. The Saragosa, a bit more finessey, I think. I think for surf fishing, for playing cob and things like that, where you're playing fish a bit softer and stuff like that. I'm not saying it can't handle big game fish and stuff like that. I just haven't caught any on it yet. So I do find it a little bit smoother, things like that, than what the Penn is. But obviously the heavy gears, the reel will never be as smooth as a reel with skinnier gears. And the guys, both drag systems, bulletproof. Don't know what else is too much to say. I think both a good choice, guys. I know I would definitely throw the Akuma Tesoro in the mix. I know we'll probably be looking very soon at getting one of those. I'm really keen to get my hands on that reel and compare it to these two boots. I think worldwide, two of the most popular best-selling reels, hands down. Yeah, I know in the States the Penns do very well. A lot of guys, game fish guys, sell them there. And I think South Africa, the Saragosa is pretty much the best-selling reel amongst the competitive anglers at the moment. Anyway, guys, hope that was informative. We're going to get these reels some new washers put on, get this line nice and straight, because my OCD is freaking me out with it right now. Give them a nice wipe off, pack them away, and we will be fishing soon. The sea has been awful for the last 4 days. Crazy east wind. We've got 5 meter swell. So we are doing some office work and bringing you guys some informative information. Stay tuned. Cheers.